I think that we're live on LinkedIn and we're about to go live on Facebook. Okay. Hello, I think we're live. Hi Ruth, how are you?
I'm really good, thank you. Really good.
Good. Really nice to be doing a live in the evening. I haven't done one of these for ages and they're normally in the day. So I'm hoping that we get a different audience tonight. And actually quite exciting news. We hit 70,000 people in the Facebook group today, which is actually like on the head, 70,000. So lots of new members. So hopefully lots of new people joining and interested in all the different opportunities. So anyone who's watching, we're going live at the minute in LinkedIn and in the Flexible Working People Facebook group. So maybe just say you can hear us, see us, and give us a little thumbs up and let us know that we're not alone here. I know it takes a few minutes for people to join. So I'm just going to give you a bit of an introduction to what tonight's about, what we're going to talk about, and a little bit of background to Ruth so that you know who she is. Ruth Kudzi, Ruth is a coach, an award-winning coach, trainer, author, and coaching psychologist and a speaker. And she's also the CEO and founder of Optimus Coach Academy. And Optimus Coach Academy are one of Flexible Working People's partners. We've been working together for the last few years, and a number of our community have been through some of the Optimus Coach Academy training, and they are now alumni. And actually, probably what we'll do next time we come in live to the group is bring in one of the FWP people who have trained and maybe get their experience and share that, because that would be really nice to do.
That would be brilliant. Yeah, I'd love to do that.
Yeah, so let's do that next. Tonight, we're going to talk about all things coaching. So whether it's that you've been looking at doing a coaching qualification and you haven't quite made a decision on whether it's for you, whether you've been looking at the marketplace at different trainers and different types of training, and again, you're a bit on the fence and you don't know which training qualification to go for. I think what Ruth does really well, because we've done these before, is kind of help you to think about what the things are that you need to think about when choosing a training company. And this particular one is ICF accredited. There are plenty of others, but what Ruth does and what Optimus Coach Academy does is quite different. And I think what we'll talk about tonight is, what you need to think about when making this decision, and why coaching is such a useful tool, not just if you're thinking about setting up your own coaching business, which obviously you can do, or thinking about using it as a side hustle, but also, Ruth, we're going to talk about how coaching can really help you to enhance your career, and having a coaching qualification can help sort of move you forward in your career, not just having it set up a business. So there's lots to cover. We're going to run for about 30 minutes. If you've got any questions, do pop them in the box and we'll see if we get to them. If not, they'll be in the comments anyway in Facebook, and Ruth will come back in and answer them, and we'll drop all Ruth's details in. So I'm going to stop talking now. So I think let's just start. I'm going to hand over to you. Can you just talk a little bit about your background? Because you started as a coach and then now you run the academy, the training. So maybe just talk to people about kind of that journey and how you moved from one to the other.
Yeah, so Optimus is actually 5 years old this month. So we're celebrating our 5-year anniversary, or our 5-year birthday. So my background, I studied psychology and business at university. So psychology and management, because they call business management where I did it. And so I was really interested in how people act and make decisions, but also in that commercial side. And then kind of went through a couple of careers, squiggly careers, worked in recruitment, did lots of stuff there, worked as a consultant, worked in education, and was a deputy head and assistant head teacher. And I had been doing a lot of coaching internally in my role as an assistant head and deputy head, coaching my teams, coaching young people, doing leadership coaching as well, and really, really enjoyed it. So I always had my finger on actually a particular coaching and mentoring course I was going to do, but I never signed up to it. So I continued to do it. And then just before I found out I was pregnant, so about 12 years ago, I decided, right, I'm going to do this because I know long term, this isn't what I want to do in my career. So 12 years ago, I decided I was going to do it. So I did training, I did a postgrad, I did lots and lots of different things. And then I had my first daughter 10 years ago. did some bits and bobs on maternity leave, went back to my job and realized it couldn't work, and decided that I was going to set up as an independent coach. So I got my first client 8.5 years ago. I set up about 9 years ago. So it took me a while. And I started working in the career and confidence space, really working with parents, actually. Really loved it. Built up my business, didn't go back after maternity leave, my second daughter. And, hit the milestones, was doing really well. Actually was in a mastermind, going to LA and stuff, which I thought was living the dream. Although I realized it wasn't, because I was leaving my kids. But I kept having this kind of doubt that I'd done some training and it seemed very formulaic. I felt like nobody even knew who I was. I was just a number. And I also did some really great in-depth training, but it was lots of essays and all of this. And I thought there's definitely a gap in the market. There's a gap in the market for coach training. And I remember training, just doing some extra classes for some of the people that were in one of the programs that I was running as a coach. And they were like, you really need to do this. Like, this is so much better than what we had. There's a massive market. So 5 years ago, I took all of my education skills, my business skills, the fact that I've got 30 years of studying psychology, and I designed the very first curriculum for Optimus. I knew I wanted it to be ICF accredited. I knew I wanted it to include psychology. And at that time, I thought I wanted it to be a hybrid. So some in person and some online. We all know what happened in 2020. And we're a fully online provider. So I really, I still coach. I still have my own private coaching clients. That's really important to me for integrity, to say, actually, you can't, I've still got a successful business as a coach, and there are lots of opportunities, but also I train people. And I think my sweet spot is training. Like, I'm an educator at heart. And so bringing all of those skills. So I guess it's like a very kind of squiggly, flexible career that came out of my need for flexible working when I was a deputy head teacher, and knowing I couldn't do that with 2 kids.
Yeah. Sounds like a perfect combination of skills, though, really. You were in the education sector, and then you set up coaching, and then you built a curriculum for coaching using everything that you've learned. So it was kind of a perfect combination. So talk to me about the type of training that you offer. You said that it's different and it's ICF accredited. What does that mean?
Okay, so in the coaching space, there's basically 3 credible accreditation bodies. There are hundreds, but if you want to work with an organization, if you're going to be using coaching in your career, if you want to be an associate, you really need to think about a credible body. Of those, the biggest, the best, the gold standard, the most is called the ICF, the International Coaching Federation. I think they're the best as well, because they're the only provider that listen to your students' coaching and look at what you give them on a competency basis and look at what they give them. There's actual rigor there, and they do that every single year. So you've got the ICF, you've got the EMCC, which is preferred by some people in the UK and also in Benelux, Germany, France. And then you've got, I always forget what Benelux actually means. And then you've also got the Association of Coaching. But I would say really the EMCC and the ICF are the big players. So you want to be accredited with them because it gives you opportunities, it opens doors, and it makes you realize that you're a particular standard. And that's something that I talk about a lot, because there's so many providers, and we know in the UK there's like the ILM or CMI, but actually those courses will not give you accreditation to a coaching body without you paying more and doing more things, and especially not with the ICF.
I also think, sorry to interrupt, I also think that there's, like, coaching has become very crowded, and it feels like a lot of people just set up as a coach, and in order to be truly credible, and you kind of have to go through something as rigorous as this, because otherwise it's kind of quite difficult to get that credibility in getting clients. So having that credible qualification through the ICF means that then you can go out and tell your clients you've been through all of this rigor and all of this training, and it should help you to get more clients, because you don't really want to go and talk to a coach who's done a weekend course and calls themselves a coach, which I think can happen nowadays.
Oh, not even. So I was reading something earlier about basically in 2020, loads of people came online, 2020, 2021. And so the online coaching space can feel saturated. And the thing is that many of those people do not have the qualifications, credibility, experience to not be online. And so that's where the problem lies. Because ultimately, I've got quite a lot of people who've trained through my academy or who I've worked with who don't go on social media, or if they do, it's only on LinkedIn. And so I think the kind of Facebookization of coaching is changing, and that's when it feels saturated. If you're looking at working with organizations, if you're looking at coaching jobs, if you're looking at having it as a leadership skill, that isn't a saturated market. But the market for that kind of online coaching, rags to riches story, that is saturated. It's because people can't leave it. And there's low barriers to entry because sold the lifestyle. Anyone with a laptop can do this, and people were sold the impossible dream, which is really sad, actually, to be honest, because ultimately most people who want to coach do so because they want to help people. And maybe that was kind of, and you could make a lot of money. Yeah, you can make a lot of money from it. But, seeing the really, really, 8 figures, whatever people say, you're probably not going to be making that as a coach. Okay. So yes, of course, you can make a really, really decent living from it. And many people I know make, kind of 6 figures and multiple 6 figures, but they don't do that overnight. And they have credible experience before, and the coaching skills supplement that. And I think, that promise that it was available for everyone, it's not that easy. It's really not.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point. So we've talked about how it can be used in different ways, and I just think it'd be really useful for people to get their heads around that. So talk to us about, setting up as a coach and using the coaching qualification, but then the other side of the coin is using it in your business. How do people do that? Why would a coaching qualification help them in their business or to grow in their career?
Okay, so first of all, setting up as a coach, there's lots of options. So you could set up as, a career coach, like some of our clients have done. You could use Google Ads to drive traffic, and you could work with a steady stream of clients. A lot of people do that. So you can set up and just be an independent and work with individuals. You can work with organizations. Often you can be like coaching residents, or you can have retainer packages, or you might be doing something hybrid where you're doing coaching and teaching, or you can be an associate. So you'd work for a larger company. Again, they're looking for credibility and qualifications. Or you could go onto one of the new coaching apps like Ezra or BetterUp and provide coaching that way. So often people might do a mixture of that. They might be doing some associate work as they build up their private practice. So lots of different options depending on who you are, your experience, and your target audience. That's the first one. Second one, you might want to add it into your business. So you might already be a consultant, and this will give you something that you could blend. It might be that you're a trainer and you can offer coaching as well. So, that can help people embed the training. It might be that you're doing some PR, you're a PR person and you want to offer this hybrid approach. So coaching can supercharge whatever you're doing in your business, and it can just be another way to package your skills. And it can be a way that you're kind of looking at those longer term clients by providing them ongoing support. So quite a few people with businesses like to have that as a skill set. Also, because you learn when you're doing our diplomas about psychology and human behavior, that can be great for building better relationships with customers. It can be great for thinking about how you design programs. It can be great for your own mindset and well-being. I was reading today about how resilience moderates a lot of things in terms of performance. So even if things aren't working out, if we're more resilient, we're likely to get through it. And then the third thing is, now most leadership roles require coaching skills. And Harvard Business Review did a study a few years ago and got leaders to rate their coaching skills, and then they got their managers and their teams to rate them. And there wasn't a strong correlation. But where there was, where people thought, self-reported they were good at coaching, and those around them agreed, their performance was higher, engagement in their teams was higher.
Absolutely. If you think about it, it makes sense. You know, any management team should go through some form of proper coaching training in order to manage and lead teams.
Yeah, and it's a key. Again, people used to call it a softer skill, but now we're learning more, aren't we? The UK is one of the most disengaged workforces in the world, like not just in Europe, in the world. So how do we help engage people? Well, maybe we ask them about them. It's quite simple, but we don't do it so much. So I think you can use it in any way. And we have lots of people who've maybe been leading teams for decades who come in, do the training, and then say, oh, it's actually really helped me to be a better leader. And I think as leaders, you're always looking for ways to be better. I know that I am.
And then people who are training to become coaches, who are kind of coming out of professions. So you came to it from being a head teacher. You were in, an academic or in the education sector, so to speak. What other sectors are you seeing good coaches come from? Are there any good particular backgrounds, or do you think anyone can become a coach? It'd be good to know from the people who have come through are there any kind of glaringly, actually, if you come from this background or this background, that makes you a great coach?
It's a great question. So I believe that anyone can be a coach if they want to be, because it is going to, you have to have a growth mindset. You have to be prepared to take on feedback. You have to be prepared to change maybe elements of your personality and your preferences. But we see people from professional backgrounds, and I'd say, and I call it this, the caring professions, but education, healthcare, and social work. We see quite a lot of people from those sectors, and generally they are successful. Quite a lot of people coming out of education, whether they've been head teachers and they work in that space or doing more on well-being, healthcare, everything from nurses to doctors to physiotherapists. And again, often they might be using that. We've had quite a few kind of therapists who use it with what they're doing. And then we see quite a few people from HR adding it in, because I think a lot of people go into HR because they want to help, and then they're doing policy and other things, and they think, I want to work with people. I don't want to be doing this bit. I don't want to be doing disciplinaries. I want to be helping people. So HR, and then we have some kind of we've had a few lawyers in recently, and again, it's that people skills, marketers and professional services. So we have had, we've had engineers and we've had accountants, but I tend to see that people are in a people-focused role. So they've already got those skills. And even if they've been working in financial services for 20 years, the thing is that they love managing and leading their team. That is the thing that gives them joy, not doing the audit. So if you've either worked in more of a people-facing role and you enjoy it, coaching could be for you, or if you've been a leader and you've really enjoyed that developmental piece, coaching could be for you, because you have to like people and you have to want to develop
and want to help people.
I want to be around people. So it's not for everybody. So it's really thinking, am I prepared to develop and grow? Do I enjoy supporting others to develop and grow?
Makes sense. Okay, so let's just talk about the training itself so that people can get a sense of what that looks like practically what's included in the training. You offer different types of training, and then more practically, what does that look like in terms of weeks, months? How long does it take to train, and when do you become accredited, and lots more questions I'll come to after. Let's start there.
Okay, so we offer 2 diploma courses. We offer the associate or the professional, and you can choose each. I always say to people, think about time, money, and energy. The associate is 14 sessions, so 14 evenings or daytimes of 3 hours, plus your mentoring and your feedback and everything else. So it's about 4 months of teaching, but usually it takes kind of 6 months to become qualified, because you're building up your coaching hours, you're having mentoring, you're getting feedback. So that includes all of that training, mentoring, feedback. Then you have supervision when you graduate, which is an ongoing thing for professional practice. and you have ongoing alumni support. And we offer business support for all of our courses too. So our curriculum is based on a whole person approach, so very much embedded in psychology, helping people understand themselves and others, which makes it quite unique in the marketplace. And then our professional is 8 months, so you do 28 sessions of 4 hours each. And again, you go more in depth into different kind of psychological approaches. You also have the mentoring, the feedback, the supervision, and the alumni support. So we like to give you everything in one place and give you ongoing support as part of the package. Because for me, I want my students to be coaching. That's the most important thing for me. I want them to learn a skill that they can continue to learn. And when we asked the alumni recently, 100% of those who replied said that they were coaching regularly. So it looked like we've done the right thing.
Okay, and if you do the associate and then you decide later that you want to do the extra, can you do the extra to get the professional, or do you have to start the professional from scratch?
No, you can do that extra. So we offer the upgrade as well. So again, we get people to think about, okay, where are they right now? What is their personal situation and what's going to work for them and fit in? So we do evenings, so daytime and evening, and then once a year we also do a Saturday as well, because we find even doing it once a year we have less people, because I think most people want to try and slot it in a way that works for them, but we give them flexibility between the options of day.
And the flexibility, does that mean that if people are working but are thinking about doing this as a side hustle, that they can do this training around their job? So that is it online or in person or a mix of both?
It's all online. And the great thing about being online is we have people from all over the world. And what that does is it helps people get different perspectives and widens their context. So, you know, in the evening ones, we've always got Americans, and we always have kind of people. We've had people from, I think, about 48 different countries so far, which is quite incredible.
Do you do the training, Ruth? Are there live coaches doing the training, or is it a mix?
Yeah. So it's all, every single person who's training is ICF certified coach at the professional level. So they've all got at least 500 hours of coaching practice, but they've all got at least 1,000 hours of coaching experience, and they're all working with live clients now. So that's something that's really important. I do the training. I train about 50% on our professional diploma and probably about 30% on the associate. So yeah, I'm always in there. But I've got a great team now as well who also deliver. But yeah, that's really important for me because I like it.
So it's a mix of having a live person like you or one of your team, plus doing work on your own and going through.
Yeah. So the training's live, it's recorded, it's on Zoom. You have a mentor who's again really experienced as a coach and has got their own coaching business. So it gives you that, you know, it gives you a whole range of resource, and having it like different people with different backgrounds as well is really important in that mix.
So talk to me a little bit about, because I know that this is going to be on people's minds, which is that they really want to do the coaching and would love to become a coach, but there's that whole piece around how I'm going to find clients and how I'm going to build the business. And I know that you said that you offer support with that. So tell me a little bit about how you help your coaches to sort of help them to generate business and to build a business rather than just getting a coaching qualification.
So we have an online program that they can go through. We also have business mentoring every month. We have marketing Q&A every month. So there's 2 sessions every month you can join. You can ask questions whenever you want around business that we support you with. You have 2 business days a year. So you have live sessions that you can attend and ask questions. So there's lots of support. And we find, you know, that we run the online program live sometimes as well. We might do that again next year. And we find that the people that access that support get clients. You know, it's really, really simple that we notice that when they do that, they get clients. It's just an easy way to get that support. So, and that's ongoing. So it might be that you've done the course 2 years ago and now you're like, oh, I really want some help, and you can access that support. And again, that's because we know that life isn't always straightforward. Some people do the course, set up their business straight away. Some people do the course, get promoted. sometimes because of the course. I was speaking to someone today who did that, and then I'm like, actually, I still want to do my own thing. So, there's lots of different ways to get clients as well. It's not only on social media, network, speaking, might be using some ads. So there's lots of different things that you can do.
Okay. And then in terms of earning potential, some people might want to do this a few hours a week as a bit of a side hustle to earn some extra money. And other people might be thinking, actually, I want this as a career. I want to, build my career around coaching. How quickly do people start earning money, and what does that look like kind of from a financial point of view, from a side hustle? Like if we can say, for someone who just does it a few hours a week, what's the earning potential versus, doing it as a job, a career?
Yeah, if you're doing it as a couple of hours a week, you could easily be earning like £500 to £1,000 extra a month. And we have people who do it as a side hustle who are earning up to like £2,000 or £3,000 a month. But at the beginning, the average amount for a life coach to charge is about £100 an hour. The average amount for other coaches is, 150 plus if you're working with organizations. I've been paid £1,000 an hour for coaching a particular organization. It isn't my rate. I'm around the £500 mark, but people do charge that. So
that's the thing as well. If you're going to work with corporates and businesses, you're going to be able to charge much more than you would to an individual who is looking for coaching one-to-one.
Yeah. And I mean, the place that charged me £1,000 is in financial services. The reason that I got that gig was because on reputation. I wouldn't normally have got that because I don't have a financial services background. So those kind of things can come into play. But usually if you're looking at somebody kind of full-time and they've got a couple of years experience under their belt, you'd be looking at them earning, between, I'd say around kind of 4,000 to 15,000 a month in revenue. So you're, depending on what their costs are, depends on that. And it does, there's loads of factors. Like I work with coaches who earn hundreds of thousands of pounds in their business, and they take home, healthy, high six-figure salaries. But I also know people who make, £2,000 a month and they don't have any outgoings, and that works for them. So it is, there's a massive differential, and I think there is in any marketplace. I think the key thing here is experience. It's your business and marketing. Like if you really want to do that, you're going to have to do that. It's your network. And also it's your skill. Like how good are you at doing things? I've said this since the beginning, one of the best pieces of marketing is delivering above and beyond what you say. Because if you do that, then you will get referrals. But yeah, if anyone's wanting to earn £100,000 in 5 minutes, doing it this way is probably not going to work for you. We have had people who've got six-figure businesses, like who are brand new to coaching, but it's their network and their experience before. They were at that level in their corporate career, and so it's much easier to translate. And I think that's so important to say, because again, people compare themselves and they think, well, why have they done it and not me? And I'm like, because you're not comparing something
in that same space. They come at it from a leadership, or they've been working in this particular field or sector, and they've got deep connections, and they're able to, they've got credibility, so they kind of hit the ground running. Okay, and then let's just finish, because I think people will want to know the cost of the courses. So do you want to just give us, and also do you help finance those?
So it's 3,500 plus VAT for our associate, or 5,750 plus VAT for the professional, both of which you can do payment plans. It's up to 6 months for the associate, up to 12 for the professional. But if you signed up early, you can look at a different plan as well. It's slightly more expensive to do a payment plan, but not much more. I think it's about £100 more expensive for the associate, or maybe 150, and maybe a little bit more for the professional. But if you do that plan within the time of the program, increase. So compared to the marketplace, the associate, because you've actually got triple accreditation by all the three bodies, is really good value for money. It's cheaper basically than the competition. The professional is, I'd say, mid-priced, but it's where the other providers are that are at the same level.
And when people come in, how do you help them to decide what niche? So, for example, you talked earlier about someone becoming a career coach, and there's all sorts of different niches that people choose to confidence, competence and success. There's career, there's life coaches, all sorts of different coaches.
Yeah.
Do most people come in kind of with an open mind to what they might want to do, and then as they're going through it, decide? Do you help them decide? Do you think people should have a niche? We talk a lot about niches in my business.
Yeah, I think having a target audience, it can make your life a lot easier. So you don't need to. If you had a really big network, you probably wouldn't need to. But for most people, having a target audience helps. So some people come in, they know straight away, I want to be a leadership coach. I'm like, great. But it might then become a little bit more defined in that they might focus on, new leaders or emerging leaders or leaders in a particular sector. Other people come in, they're really open, and I just say coach lots of different people, because you'll start to learn about where works best for you. But really, I mean, like, I should have started as a leadership coach in the education sector. It's what I'd done before. I didn't. I chose to leave that sector, and I focused on coaching people around confidence and career who have become new mums, because that's all the people I was hanging out with. And I noticed that lots of people who, when they became new parents, really started to feel shaky around what they wanted to do and were asking them questions about their career. So that's kind of where I went. So I'd say your story, where you come from, can help.
It's going to influence what you end up doing. Yeah.
But we help people as well. Yeah, we help.
Yeah. All right. Well, look, we've run to time, perfectly to time, and I think we've covered everything. We've covered how you should choose a course, what's on the course, the support that's offered through Optimus, why to choose an accredited training. I think if anyone's got any questions, please pop them in the comments box. I can see some likes and thumbs up, but no questions here. So Ruth is in the Facebook group and in our community, and we're going to drop some links into the thread. Just had a comment. Great discussion. Where would Ruth, I've got a question from Matt, where would Ruth advise is a good angle to attract clients? Social media marketing, Google, Upwork, etc.
Oh, so I don't know anyone who's got success in Upwork. It would depend on your target audience. So Matt, what I can do is, if you are a coach, I'll come into the group and you can tell me a little bit more, and I can give you some advice based on you and seeing what would work for you.
Okay, perfect. All right. So if anyone's got any other questions, contact Ruth. Ruth's in the group. We're going to, if people want to set up what do you do? Discovery calls, or just want to find
discovery calls? So I can put the link to book a call in the group as well for people, so anyone can do that. Or I'm the only Ruth Kudzi in the world, I think. So you can find me on anything. I know. Is it good or is it bad? Like, yeah, we are. It's good. There are not many Kudzies around, so you can find me on any platform. You can drop me a DM as well. I'll always get back to you.
Brilliant. All right. Well, thanks so much for your time tonight. Always good to chat, and we will be back in the group with you in the really near future. And in the meantime, if you've got any questions for Ruth, just get in touch with her directly, and I know she'll be more than happy to answer. So thanks anyone who's tuned in, and we shall see you soon. Thanks so much, Ruth.
Thank you.